Welcome to the MP4 file, ladies and gentlemen. This digitally produced, artificially generated flicker of lights and sound on your phone, device, laptop, or what have you. You made it. You made it to this part of the internet, this file on the internet with my voice and you watching it. And what about all that other stuff out there on the internet, huh? What about all that stuff on Instagram? What about those people on Facebook? What kind of algorithm are they using, huh? What kind of algorithms going on over there on that Facebook? What kind of news items are they getting service to them on their news feed? What sort of people are they looking at over there on Facebook? What sort of family pictures of vacations and food that people post on Facebook that is service to people you're walking by at the gas station, and then they pull up their phone and they're looking at their phone and they're looking at people's food that they just ate at a restaurant that you just drove by, and they want you to see that. They want you to spend a few moments of your precious time looking at that piece of information, that digitally produced image, sometimes with sound, sometimes with a caption, oftentimes presented to you in your day-to-day travels while you're looking at your phone, perhaps trying to kill time. Maybe you're trying to do something important, but the point of the matter is the fundamental aspect of our relationship with these devices, with these bits of silicon that we spend so much time confusing ourselves over, well, they're video games. Let's be honest. I mean, people are on Facebook and they're playing a video game with people from their work. It's social media. It's absolutely no different from an MMORPG. People these days are glorified World of Warcraft players, if you think about it, and their avatars and all these different things. The open world MMORPG that people are playing in is their lives, and they've digitally overlaid it with actual pictures of their lives. Those maniacs, they're off playing some MMORPG, and they're not even the main character in it. They're still going to work and still being the lame side character who you drive past, who's just like a pedestrian. People these days are completely off the rocker to think about. I mean, think about somebody in the 90s who's like driving around in a sedan, like hanging around a beach or whatever, what have you. And then you think about that person and try to suggest to them a situation where they spend 3 to 4 hours a day, or 17 hours a week just looking at their phone. And out of that 17, so basically 1 day a week is spent just with your head in your phone. And like, basically, you think about it, 17 hours that you spend looking at your phone every single week. And I mean, you better be uploading something, or you better be influencing, commenting, liking, sharing, or doing something to interact with that web page. Because you think about it, you're on there, you're scrolling, you're just watching the content, and then you're moving on. It's like, what sort of impact have you really had? Nothing. You're an observer. I mean, at least when people are uploading pictures of their food, those people are at least influencing the algorithms, and they're adding a file, they're adding an image, they're adding a configuration to the pixels, and they're changing the website in their image. I mean, really, when people post pictures of themselves on Facebook, then they become a face on the book. They're creating a public profile for themselves in every sense of the in every sense of understanding it. And people talk on the phone, and then they limit their own ideas and thoughts and stuff to fit the public profile that they've made for themselves, that they act in the image of. So it's art imitating life in real time. Truly, truly a testament to the creator of Apple, Steve Jobs. You really got to kind of hand it to Steve Jobs and all these Silicon Valley geniuses who were quick at the ready to use these programmers who effectively reshaped and reconfigured human psychology from their college dorm rooms, just because they saw the sort of way, the sort of manipulative tactics that are employed by social media, like the ones that everybody talks about, like the dopamine internet, the information feedback loop, outrage porn, and all these other things that are the makings of social media. And then, of course, these lend themselves over to the mob, the social media mob, which everybody loves to be a part of. See, the other day I was at a parade, right? And I was around all these college students, and I heard them talking with like the updated language. Yeah, there were these like, college girls, and they were saying like, "Oh, that's mid," or like "no cap," but they were like really emphasizing the slang, and I don't know. I mean, I'm all for people trying to reconfigure their language and reconstructure the way that they talk and all that kind of stuff. People should experiment with different slang. But I really just somehow cringe when I see people using like already popularized internet slang that's like readily served for you to almost stand out in conversation. It's like I remember people saying on dogs was that at one point, or like it's lit, or even that's sick. I remember that was like one of the early ones. That's like from my childhood. Is like I remember when saying that something was sick was like considered slang. And now you'll hear like it's always interesting because it's like cops adopt that sort of like surfer slang. Like you ever hear a cop say hang 10? Like when you're getting arrested and then the cop tells you to hang 10, or like he tells you, far out. It's like they use that language that sort of that's not by accident. That's actually because like they're the only ones using it. I mean, you don't actually really even see like people generally stay on brand. Like people generally stay limited to the social media profile that is then in and of its sense a representation of their own digital avatar, and then that then is represented by the various different what the companies might refer to as social proofs. It's almost as if people are trying to hold up their status as far as their relationship with these companies. I mean, these companies, which all they do is curate the information that these people have created, the pictures that people have taken themselves, all the different various mechanisms of people interacting and interfacing with these things. Like I said, they're maniacs because they're giving like they said, like, not only are they giving their time for free, they're giving their data for free, which everybody talks about, but they're also giving away their art for free. I mean, Instagram technically, I'm pretty sure, owns every image that you upload to it. So like you're giving your images to not only the company that runs it and then publicly serves it out to a worldwide audience who can then screenshot it and put it on a picture, and you can let your imagination run wild on that one. But then people thinking that they could get like $2 for a download, bro. Once an image is on the internet, it's on there forever. It's on there forever. Like there's no way to take it off. So fundamentally, you look at the the critical component of the Western life in general of like you take an American, you take a Canadian, you take Europeans, and all this sort of crap. You look at the way that people have like all these things taken care for them. The roads are paved, the trains run on time. Water, they have accessibility to water, yet people are depressed. Now, this rattles some people's brains from time to time, but I don't really think it's that confusing. You think about it, it's like they're bored, and then they end up doing these outrageous things like going to a concert where they play the 808 beats and the non 528 hertz and the low vibrational frequency with the suggestive lyrics that make people generally feel depressed. But they play it off as a facade, sort of like a breakup Taylor Swift song, almost like a redemption of the damned, in and of its sense, celebration of sin in and of itself. But then you often see that it's like the religious nut jobs and so forth, or at least people who are labeled as such. People who are labeled as religious nut jobs pull out screenshots of like a Tekashi 6ix9ine song or a Cardi B concert where she's got all this sort of Illuminati symbolism and stuff like that. But that was just really put there by the art department. The artist who's on the stage is very rarely involved to any extent with the occult or with anything that's esoteric in nature, or anything that's actually like even could be necessarily confused with anything that would even amount to like Illuminati or whatever, to even use that term so lightly. You look at a lot of these different terms and you look at a lot of these fundamental aspects and critical components of how people live their lives in conjunction to the social media profiles that they've readily made for themselves, and then the algorithm services them back a ready-made dopamine feedback loop, which gives them the illusion that what they're doing is actually real, that what they posted actually counts. And then the people in their direct proximity, people who they live with, people from their work, give them social feedback as far as their own interface with technology, as far as social validations in terms of when people are on social media and then they want to talk about, oh, I went to vacation, and then they have to go post the picture of the vacation or else it never happened. I'd really love to see like a working class person, like, an Instagram thought or something, go on go on like a expensive vacation to Hawaii and not tell anybody about it, but then not tell anybody that she didn't tell anybody about it. See, it's a double-edged sword. She'd have to like quit her job, go, come back, and not even realize she did it in order to successfully complete the holy triangle. See, there's 3 critical points to that. You have to, number 1, be an Instagram thought. Number 2, forget that you're an Instagram thought and go on vacation and not tell anybody about it. And then all in the process of that, have fun on the vacation, not take any pictures, not post any of them online, come back and just sort of like go about your regular Instagram thought existence after the deed is done, without even feeling like, without even remembering that you went on the. I couldn't do it. I'm a total Instagram thought if that's the case. I don't know if anybody would even be capable of doing that. But then it begs the question. It's like, why do you go on vacation in the first place? It's like, what's the catch? Like, why are people? Why do the what are they, the airlines and all these people? How do they stay in business? Well, it's because social media really, after a fashion, when you see your friends having fun on vacation, or your friends on their Snapchat story and they posted a picture of the beach, that's an advertisement for that beach. The beaches learned a long time ago, or the restaurants around the beaches learned a long time ago, that their their number one selling point is nostalgia. And nowadays they sell dreams to people, prepackaged in data. People go on their social media and then they get this artificial representation of an experience that they never had, and then they live vicariously through you, which is why I really think, deep down in the bottom of my heart is when, like, people go on, put everybody on blast, like they go off on social media and they pop out, then everybody sort of wants to limit them, because that's sort of a self-limiting structure of their own limitations, or even just to use the word limitation so much, and that honestly feels like I'm rambling now, but I'm really not. It's not a ramble, because at the end of the day, like I was talking about in the video before this, and if you didn't watch the one that I just made, it was called The Bottom of Twitter. And what is at the bottom of Twitter? Like, what is the end of Instagram? Like, where are you scrolling? Like, what does all this calculation and all this this saving of files and so forth, like, what is it actually amounting to? I mean, that's the real question. It's like, what's the end? Or is it just a mutation of our impression of linguistics? Is it an abuse of language at that point? To think that somebody could, like, because, like, at a certain point, people are going to have this conversation. They're going to say, should somebody, like, to what extent is an individual going to be permitted to just post junk? I mean, the social media sites, and plenty of them do have a good idea of this. Like, they do know, like, oh, if somebody just goes on there and then they keep posting like a similar picture a million times, they'll just stop recommending it to people, and then that person's profile gets like flagged, shadow banned, or demoted, or something, sort of put into an artificial ghetto. But all that stuff, I'm wondering, like, in the future, and then this is sort of something that I don't really want to put voice to, so maybe I won't even talk about it. But I wonder, to a certain extent, like, you go on social media, right, and then you get like a guy who's on there. Sorry. So you have a social media site that limits the amount of gigabytes as far as like how much can you upload on there. Probably because it's a startup. It's like a tech startup, which is difficult to do, because when users want to use your profile, they want to get views, they want to go viral. But realistically, the only sites that actually serve that are the ones that already have a built-in user base. So the ones that have already been proven to work, like, oh, it went viral on YouTube, as opposed to, oh, it went viral on, I mean, you could say, oh, it went viral on Twitter, or it went viral on Instagram. But then once you say, oh, it went viral on, like, just like, I don't know, what even is a name, like Rumble? Like, oh, it went viral on Rumble. It's like kind of cool if you're a user of Rumble, but most people don't know. And then at that point, it's like, oh, it went viral on the internet. Then you get like that sort of mishmash. It's like the Google search result prioritization and all that stuff. You get prioritized content and all the rest of it.